Greetings, brothers and sisters from the four corners of the world. I hope everyone is having a blessed and prosperous morning, afternoon, evening in your respective lands. Brothers and sisters. Um, First thing I want to say is um, viewer discretion is strongly advised from this point out. Okay. Um, the information needs to get out there, but viewer discretion is strongly advised. And um, I will say we have a lot of videos, and they may not always, they won't really necessarily show images, but of the things that um, we'll be talking about, brothers and sisters. Um, yeah. All right. So, um, excuse me. Without further ado, brothers and sisters, let's just go right ahead. And I'm going to do it differently. We're going to start it from a verse that we previously did. And I have others. I actually added more to the lesson. Praise the Most High. Uh, but we're going to use a verse that parallels with just what this is called. So this is Save Yourself, Truth and Mercy. And if you remember, we went over Proverbs 6 and 16, chapter 16, verse 6 and 7, or 6 through 7. Okay. On the right, it reads, by kindliness and loyalty, atonement is made for sin. With the fear of the Most High goes avoidance of evil. Let the Most High be pleased with a man's way of life, and he makes his very enemies into friends. On the left, by mercy and truth, iniquity is purged, and by the fear of the Lord, men depart from evil. When a man's ways please the Most High, he maketh even his enemies to be at peace with him. And we're just going to focus here on verse 6, brothers and sisters. By mercy and truth. Okay. Now, obviously, you guys know I shared with you guys. They put out the movies, Age of Disclosure. We understand this was the time of the age of disclosure, right? Now, something is really interesting because truth is being spread everywhere. At this point, it's very strange for someone not to accept it. Of course, you can't just accept everything, of course, but with due diligence of researching and studying to show thyself approved of what you're looking at, it is very important, right? And you would sit there and think, how could someone just deny the things that's happening? And we're going to talk about this. And you probably know where this is going. Okay. But before we go there, we're going to go to the sibling oracles. That's in the first pseudographia. All right. Now remember, by truth and mercy, mercy and truth, iniquity is purged. Okay. Keep this in mind. Now it reads from 80 here. On mercy, give to the poor at once and do not tell them to come tomorrow. With with persevering hand, Give a portion of corn to one who is in need. Whoever gives alms knows that he is lending to God. And we understand this is confirmation because the Bible tells us this as well. Mercy saves from death when judgment comes. Now, I need you guys to kind of like align that with Proverbs 16:6. Mercy saves from death when judgment comes. And that's really important, right? And you're going to see as we get further into the lesson. Most High willing, we get all this, but if not, we'll break it up. But mercy saves from death when judgment comes. And you all know that judgment will eventually come for all. God wants not sacrifice, but mercy instead of sacrifice. Now think about that. He wants mercy instead of sacrifice. Mercy, mercy, mercy. To have mercy upon one another instead of sacrifice. Therefore, clothe the naked, give the hungry a share of your bread, receive the homeless into your house, lead the blind, pity the shipwrecked, for the voyage is uncertain, give a hand to one who has fallen, save a solitary man. All have a common lot, the wheel of life, unstable prosperity. Now, before I move forward, look at all the things that the Most High was has given in a list of the order. And it's not necessarily, I don't think that the order is, important, but it's the content of what we're to do. Receive the homeless into the home, lead the blind, pity the shipwrecked. If you see, someone car broken down, go help them. Like this, right? The voyage is uncertain. Give a hand to who has fallen. Save a solitary man. You know, and that shipwrecked, right? You notice how these things can be, and also clothe the naked, give the hungry a share of your bread, right? Like these things, and I'm just going to use pity the shipwreck. How many times have people been in rush hour and seen someone, you know, maybe had a car accident or something like that, and they just drove right by, or maybe had an accident on the side of the road? Like, I mean, there's so many times to test us, and like I'm gonna say, use discernment. Okay, I'm not gonna say go out there and help every person because there are people who plot. Okay, but I'm telling you to use discernment. But nevertheless, how many times have people have been given the opportunity to do good things and kind of say, oh, well, if I help this person, I'll be late to work. Well, that's also going to be on your judgment, too. We sit there and we don't really think about it, but more like, man, this is ways to show mercy. And we'll be judged on that. The Most High, what do you think the Most High is going to favor? He's saying, oh, well, my boss said if I'm late one more time, fire me, or you're helping someone on the side of the road who really needs it. Which one do you think? The Most High is going to be like, oh, so you put the job over my commands. Okay, gotcha. All right. Moving forward. If you have wealth, stretch out your hand to the poor. The things which God gave you, give of them to one in need. Every life of men is common, but falls out unequally. When you see a poor man, never mock him with words, and do not verbally abuse a person who is at fault. Life is assessed in death, whether one acted lawlessly or righteously will be distinguished when one comes to judgment. Full stop. See that all will be distinguished when we reach the throne for judgment. And I want you to think about that. Kind of interesting. We talk about mercy and truth. Have you had mercy? And what is the truth? What is the truth? Right? What is the truth? Well, it's so simple when we sit there and go into the book of John, right? Yeah, no, I'm going John 8, right? It's so simple when we go into the book of John. We say, oh, yeah, of course, we know the truth. We know the truth with all our heart. But, brothers and sisters, what we're seeing is something really, really scary yet remarkable. On the right, or better yet, we'll start on the left. Then said Yeshua to those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word, then ye are my disciples indeed. And if ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. On the right. And he was saying this, many came to believe in him. To the Jews who believed in him, Yeshua said, if you make my word your home, totally different from continue, right? If you make my word your home, you will indeed be my disciples. You will learn the truth, and the truth will make you free. So here, I don't necessarily believe that many people get this. When they sit there and think about, oh, the truth, the truth shall make someone free. When you hear Christians who know nothing about Christ speak of this, they have this pompous mindset of, well, it's all about accepting Christ as your Lord and Savior. But if you continue to go on, well, it really talks about sin and what? Your actions. Because the topic of discussion was, oh, we're Abraham's children. And Christ said, well, if you were of Abraham's seed, then you would do the things that Abraham did. Therefore, you can see in verse 34, verily I say unto you, whosoever committeth sin is a servant of sin. So now Christ was saying what? He was saying, if you are if you are of Abraham's lineage, you will do the things that Abraham did. Two, if you want the truth, you must follow his guidance, right? Three, sin and truth cannot match, which means what? If truth sets you free, then sin makes you a slave to lies. I don't think they understand. I don't think they understood. So now, when we go back to book of Proverbs, right? Verse chapter 16, verse 6. By mercy and truth, sin is purged. Iniquity is just another word for sin, transgression, right? Sin is purged. So by understanding truth and by having mercy, sins are purged, which means you would eventually understand and lies would be shattered, they would be dismantled because truth cannot abide with a lie, right? It cannot. So this goes into many things. Do you have mercy upon yourself? And that's a funny question, right? Many people never ask that question. Am I having mercy upon myself? So now, uh, this can be a scary question because some people will have a little too much mercy upon themselves. They'll be like, "Oh, I'll let that slide. God's got me. He understands what I'm going through." And then there's those who never really think, well, am I being too tough on myself? Hmm. I'm doing my best, but my best doesn't seem good enough. And maybe, if anyone, for those who know me closely, they understand that's myself. I'm one of those people. Uh, and there's many of us out there who it's like, okay, I did this. All right, what's next? What's next? No, 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 we ain't stopping. We ain't resting. We got to keep moving because, the Most High woke me up. His mercies are new every morning. I got to keep going. But if you are one of those people, and people are transforming into that, they are every day, you must learn that you must seek the truth as well. Okay. And that's the truth about yourself first. You cannot seek in that. I do believe being in the truth since what, 2010, right? I've been serving the Most High in this journey of truth since 2010. And I believe that that is a hard part that many people just, it kind of like goes like over their head, so to speak, where they're looking at the truth of the world, but the truth of yourself. Think about that. This world is so wrapped up in materialism and vanity, where we sometimes in the flesh get caught with the things that we so desperately want rather than the things that we need. And when we seek after things that we want, we end up going against the will of God because that's not the truth of God for our particular life. Okay, now. So then, because the world tells you rent or own, buy or sell, you're going not for necessarily what your passion always is or what that God given talent is. And sometimes it's connected to the passion, true, that's true. But you end up working for the wants instead of the needs. For example, the truth is, I need to find out my created purpose. I need to find out why God created me. I need to do what God wants me to do. I need to use the talents that God placed in me. But instead, I want that job. I want that salary. I want that pay. I want that house. I want extra rooms. I want that car. I want that position. And when everything becomes want, that's when you cover up the truth. So, mercy and truth go so far, brothers and sisters. Once again, there's layers to the truth, and all shall be revealed. But the question is, when do you want it to be revealed, right? But before that, we put the the cart before the horse. Let's continue. Now, all shall be revealed. And I thought once we look at John, right? John 8:32, where Christ says, "Hey, make my words your home, make it the foundation. And you're going to learn the truth, and the truth will make you free." Now, in this time, as we are living in the end, I mean, I hope you recognize this. If you have not, have mercy. There needs to be some really strengthening within your soul and really searching for that connection with the Most High, right? But the truth is, what is this truth, right? That Christ said you will learn. And what is this truth that is supposed to make you free? Because there's layers to it, right? We talked about the truth of the outside, and we also talked about the truth of yourself. Now, what is the truth of, we can say, the Most High in prophecy? You may say, wow, I never really thought about that. There's a truth to the Most High in prophecy. Like there's a truth for he who endures to the end, the same shall be saved. There's a truth to that. There's people who lie to themselves and say that I'm enduring, I'm enduring, I'm enduring. And then there's truth when they're really not enduring much of anything, right? And then there's some people who think that what they're going through is nothing when in reality they are enduring something quite major. So there's levels and there's much understanding that needs to happen. This is Isaiah 33, and this is verse 6. It reads, on the right, your continuance is assured, wisdom and knowledge are riches that save. The fear of the Most High is his treasure. On the left, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times and strength of salvation. The fear of the Most High is his treasure. Now, wisdom and knowledge are riches that save. So, what shall make you free? Wisdom and knowledge, truth, mercy. All these things will save you. I want you to think about that. Mercy, truth purges out iniquity. Wisdom and knowledge saves you. Mercy and truth purge the sin. Wisdom and knowledge save you. Come on now. Come on now. So let's see. Let's see where we are today in the world when it comes to mercy, truth, wisdom, and knowledge. If one was wanting to save themselves, I would say obviously they have to know the truth. So, past the point of um, understanding the truth of yourself, the Word of God, now there comes, and past the point of understanding the truth to endure, now there comes the truth of what? Prophecy. Where are we? And this is something that many people have done. I want to say this. Many people have done, but and many people have gotten it wrong. And the reason why many people have gotten it wrong, because there's always been an allegiance to outside entities. There's always been an allegiance and a hidden motive. Okay. You see all the Christians, all the foundations of their churches, they've all had people to swear up and down the end of the world and the rapture is coming here and there. And it's because there was always an allegiance behind doors, and there was always a motive, and neither of them were of the Most High. Here, we're not connected to Freemasonry, we're not connected to Illuminati, we're not connected to any, what do they call them? Handlers, or we're not connected to any puppeteers pulling the strings. There's no one making my lessons and saying, like, there's none of that. There's no allegiance. There's no motive but to what? Help people endure and share with you the things you need to know to endure. All right. Now, hold on to your seatbelts. You heard once upon a time, brothers and sisters, people would say, if they tell you who they are, you must listen. So let's start listening.
First of all, last year you told me that you believe that the reason you won the election is because God put you in this place so that you could save the world. Looking back 1 year, do you feel like God is proud of the effort that you've put?
I do, actually. I think God is very proud of the job I've done. And that includes for religion. You know, we're protecting a lot of people that are being killed. Christians, Jewish people, and lots of people are being protected by me that wouldn't be protected by another type of president.
So we're gonna play this back just in the beginning.
First of all, last year you told me that you believe that the reason you won the election is because God put you in this place so that you could save the world. Looking back 1.
So he believed that God placed him there to save the world. Here's the scary part. In Islam, the Al-Masih, whom they call Isa, which is Yeshua, that's Christ, is the Messiah. And he's coming to save the world against the Dajjal in Arabic, which is the Antichrist. In the Bible, it talks about many antichrists. In the Bible, it talks about Christ's return. Apocrypha as well, pseudegraphia, talks about all of his return, the destruction and the prophecies that come before, that's during, and that's after. Now, if someone is claiming to save the world and they're not Christ, and they don't fit the prophecies of the Bible, of the Quran, because the Quran, it's in there as well, then who is this? You got it. That would be someone with the spirit of the Antichrist, or in Arabic, they say the Dajjal, the spirit of the Dajjal, the Antichrist. Because he's not a savior. And everything he's doing is opposite of saving souls. But no. It just tends to get worse and worse and worse.
I don't think there's a thing I can do, but all of these good things I'm doing, including for religion, you know, religion's back now hotter than ever before. I mean, I have to tell you. But I said, even though I did that and so many other things, I named things, I said, I won't qualify. I'm not going to make it to heaven. And the New York Times did a front page story that Donald Trump is questioning his life and the meaning of his life. No, I was just having fun. I really think I probably should make it. I mean, I'm not a perfect candidate, but I did a lot of good for perfect people. That's for sure. Right, Mr. Speaker?
Now, one more time while we go through it.
I don't think there's a thing I can do, but all of these good things I'm doing, including for religion, you know, religion's back now hotter than ever before. I mean, I have to tell you. But I said, even though I did that and so many other things, I named things, I said, I won't qualify. I'm not going to make it to heaven. And the New York Times did a front page story that Donald Trump is questioning his life and the meaning of his life. No, I was just having fun. I really think I probably should make it.
Now, one, it was stated in the beginning that he was uncertain if, and he said, no, I'm probably not going to make it. Now, then he was like, oh, I'm joking. And the reason we kind of have to address this here is because you're going to see these people follow this person right into the lake of fire. And he's not the only one leading people there. I mean, how many times have I told you these politicians and they all have done some evil. And the Bible says certain ones haven't, but for the most part, these big ones, such as himself, they got some blood on their hands and blasphemy. They got the two B's, blood and blasphemy. Now, to say that, and that's one thing I actually, when I realized, when I went to the Middle East, right? And this is not for everyone, right? When I went to Oman, and I realized from the difference between Christianity and Islam night and day, right? When I speak to Christians, whether it be Ethiopia, the United States, I know I'm going to heaven. I should. I'm a good person. And there's at least the Muslims I met. They said, well, I don't know if I'm going, but I can tell you this, that I'm going to do everything that God says to do so that on judgment, he can see that I didn't just put myself as a prideful person. So I'm going to do all the things he says so that way I can have good works rather than rely that I'm a good person. And that immediately I was like, wow, that's night and day, because the Christian base will tell you, yeah, I believe in Jesus Christ, he's my Lord and Savior, and that's all I need. I got the ticket to the Super Bowl. If I told you that Christians would be the one to destroy the world, you wouldn't believe me. But hey, hey, I mean, right? Hey, no one thinking this strange. But you're gonna see with more videos, because we got at least 20 videos, right? You're gonna see. When they tell you things, would you believe them or not?
Converts, and also the number of people going to church every week. To support this exciting renewal this morning, I'm pleased to announce that on May 17th, 2026, that we're inviting Americans from all across the country to come together on our national mall to pray, to give thanks, and we are going to do something that everyone said, like, that's tough. We're going to rededicate America as one nation under God. You know, a lot of people. Yeah, thank you very much. That's what I mean by the Spirit. It's so incredible to see it. I see it so much. I've never seen anything like it in 1 year. I thought it would take 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to be where we are. We've done it in, I mean, really 10 months. We're at 12, but now it's just getting to a level that we've never reached before as a country. But that includes religion. I mean, and maybe that's part of the reason that we're doing so well. There's such great spirit. It's all spirit, and it includes religion. I've always said, you just can't have a great country if you don't have religion. You have to believe in something. You have to believe that what we're doing, there's a reason for it. There has to be a reason for it. We're all working and we're behaving. I mean, I behave because I'm afraid not to, okay? Because I don't want to get in trouble.
Now, the little shot at the Most High seemed to have everyone going hilarious. Well, then he says, "Oh, I have to." Now, this is very important, and there's a lot of things to break down here, especially if you're in the Americas. And really, what we're recognizing in the world is that you thought the United States is corrupt. The United States got everyone in their pocket in some way, shape, or form. Okay, and not everyone, but a lot of the power places, right? But anywho, before we even get to that point, because we will, let's first begin with he's talking about people converting to Christianity. And that's true. People are. I'm not really sure the number because I know they lie. But a lot of people are also converting to Islam at the same time in high numbers. um, so it is a very interesting time to be alive, right? Now let's break it down real quick.
Converts, and also the number of people going to church every week. To support this exciting renewal this morning, I'm pleased to announce that on May 17th, 2026, that we're inviting Americans from all across the country to come together on our national mall to pray, to give thanks, and we are going to do something that everyone said, like, that's tough. We're going to rededicate America as one nation under God. You know, a lot of people.
Now the scary thing is the United States government, and there's others out there, but we're just going to talk about this one because it's talking about the U.S. The United States government does not serve God. So it's kind of scary to sit there and think, oh, we're going to rededicate. Come on now. Um, they're going to rededicate. So, hmm, now, let's say, right? Let's if I go to this word, right? Dedicate. Now, this is where this is where now he talking now. I want you to pay attention now. This is where they're going to set people apart and consecrate. Okay, now they may not do a deity, but the whole goal is to set their country apart even more. Come on, y'all didn't know dedicate was like the the secular term for Nazarite, right? Right? And I wouldn't even be surprised if they kind of blaspheme the Nazarenes, right? But to dedicate, now when he says let's see if they give root words here. I doubt it, but with reference to, okay, property, goods, matters, things, blah, 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 right? Back, back to the original. So we're going to rededicate. Think around, right? Conveying the notion of undoing or backwards. So they're going to go backwards as if the United States hasn't went back enough. Think about that. Going backwards. We're going to set apart and go backwards. We're going to go backwards. We're going to go backwards. We're going to go backwards. And if I'm thinking that, if I'm in the US and I'm in Europe, I'm thinking, wait a minute. The only way to go back is to bring upon things that kind of probably what you would say is opening old wounds. Racism, even more hatred, even more division, targeting. Yeah, that's where it's going to go. They're going to rededicate. Brothers and sisters, I'm telling you this. If you in the US, and even if you in Europe, because Europe, Australia, man, y'all seen Australia was good. Australia's going nuts too. But if you in these European-led nations, and once again, he said that this is a spirit, right? So anyone following this Babylonian spirit all over the world, it's going to happen. And I don't know if you recognize from the Epstein, it just flooded through so many countries, right? All the things being revealed from all the countries. So now this is a collective spirit of the earth. If it's coming out about the US, it's going to come out against all the other nations too. And so there's going to be a very great division in the world. Oh boy. And all that makes me believe is that 2nd Ezra 16, when the Most High is chosen, is going to be very evident. You are going to know without a shadow of a doubt soon enough who the Most High's chosen are. But let's keep going.
Thank you very much. That's what I mean by the spirit is so incredible to see it. I see it so much. I've never seen anything like it in 1 year. I thought it would take 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to be where we are. We've done it in, I mean, really 10 months. We're at 12, but now it's just getting to a level that we've never reached before as a country. But that includes religion. I mean, maybe that's part of the reason that we're doing so well. There's such great spirit. It's all spirit, and it includes religion. I've always
It's such great spirit. Keep in mind now that When these politicians start talking about spirit now, and you know what they do, they be on them islands and the owls and stuff. You know the spirit they talking about.
I've always said you just can't have a great country if you don't have religion. You have to believe in something. You have to believe that what we're doing, there's a reason for it.
So they're going to persecute people who are not in their view of reason. Now let's look at this word reason. Now, with reason, it gets very scary because with reason comes justification. So, what you're going to start to see is the United States and European led countries begin to use the Bible to justify their evils. Mark my words. If I had $1 million, I would say let's put 1 million up. I'd say I bank it. Mark my words, they're gonna start using scripture to justify some of the greatest evils we have ever seen. Hey, pay attention. Pay attention. Reason to challenge, to address, to argue. And mind you, that's all in the scope of separation, rededicate, right? You gotta believe in the reason. We're rededicating. We're gonna separate everyone. We're gonna make it known who's who. Now, reason, look at this. Grounds for action, a motive, cause, and event. So something has to happen. They're going to, what they're doing now is riling up people for the reason, for a reason, I should say, because something is coming out of this. Think about this. And you saw it, the world saw it with, and I'm not supporting no Bad Bunny or, Kid Rock or anything like that, but you saw it with the Super Bowl. You saw it with the Super Bowl. Okay.
There had to be a reason for it. We're all working and we're behaving. I mean, I behave because I'm afraid not to, okay? Because I don't want to get.
Because I don't want to get in trouble. Now, my question is for you. At some point, how long do you think the Most High going to put up with this? He said everyone's behaving. So I want you to look at the code words, right? Rededicate, reason, and behave. When we rededicate the nation, it is for a reason, and you better behave, right? Simple. Because the word behave means to govern. Right? Come on now. And straight blaspheme to the Most High. Now, he did mention something the 17th of what? The 17th of May. And I looked it up. I looked up the pagan days, May 17th. And let me share with you. Thargalon Nomia, Greek holiday. It ain't nothing holy about it. It's the Greek first day of the first day of the Greek month, the holiest day. Hmm. 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 Now, May 17th, also known in the Kemetic, that's Egyptian, known as a day of anger. Hmm. Man, a day of anger don't sound so good. That's just me. Festival of Ambarvilla, Festival of Dia Dia, sky goddess and light goddess, related to Diana, Roman goddess of growth, associated with Ceres, Roman goddess of agriculture, and Demeter, Greek goddess of agriculture. The 12 priests of Dia Dia, called the Fratres Arvalis, or of all brethren, were responsible for offering sacrifices to ensure robust health for field crops. We understand that they're not, caring about the earth, or they're not trying to get, planting and stuff. It's all pagan, right? And then there is Belton, and this one came up a lot. I don't know why it did come up a lot, but this is the biggest one. Okay, and you can see May 17th festival drove cattle to the bonfires of purification and fertility. Same deity is Baal. Hmm. Same deity is Baal. Also in the Bible as well. Now, 17th, and I typed this in too, and I know this is not even the same day, but I just said, okay, 17th, right? And somehow this came up. Okay. Tammuz. Now, this is what I got from this. According to their Mishnah, right? What they believe, and some of it is taken, right? 5 calamities befell the children of Israel. Moses broke the tablets, the Babylonian siege of Jerusalem, Roman siege of Jerusalem, and this revolt here. And an idol was erected. Now, also supposed to be one of their fast days. But I'm going to tell you this: there's nothing good about Tammuz. There, I repeat, is nothing good about Tammuz. I repeat, there is nothing good about it. Okay. But let's move on, because there's so much more I want to share with you. Those were old videos, by the way, and from some of the things I had before. And then the truth is, we're seeing evil that people don't understand. And the world is changing. Now, in the book of Daniel, many Christians, oh, the temple, right? And so in this temple, they talk about this temple, right? Now, if the Bible says that someone is gonna make a temple, and Christ will come back because this temple not supposed to be, then the people helping this region for the temple would be the synagogue of man. Never mind. But let's see what we have here.
So we did a master plan. We brought in, I thank you, Kirga Bai, who's one of the most successful real estate developers and brilliant people I know. He's volunteered to do this, not for profit, really because of his heart. He wants to do this. And we've developed ways to redevelop Gaza. Gaza, as President Trump's been saying, has amazing potential. And this is for the people of Gaza. We've developed it into zones. In the beginning, we were toying with the idea of saying, let's build a free zone, and then we have a Hamas zone. And then we said, you know what? Let's just plan for catastrophic success. Hamas signed a deal to demilitarize. That is what we are going to enforce. People ask us what our plan B is. We do not have a plan B. We have a plan. We signed an agreement. We are all committed to making that agreement work. There's a master plan. We'll be doing it in phasing. In the Middle East, they build cities like this in 2-3 million people. They build this in 3 years. And so stuff like this is very doable if we make it happen. Rothel will start with. This will show a lot of workforce housing. We think this could be done in 2-3 years. We've already started removing the rubble and doing some of the demolition. And then New Gaza. It could be a hope. It could be a destination, have a lot of industry, and really be a place that the people there can thrive, have great employment. Once this starts going, we think there should be 100% full employment and opportunity for everybody there. And we have a lot of data on what can be, but we think that this really gives the Gazan people an opportunity to live their aspirations. But it all starts with security, and it all starts with governance. Final note I'll just say on the Board of Peace, which is that all the lessons we're doing is we're basically studying the best practices from all over the world, and we're watching who does education the best, who does healthcare delivery the best. All of these things it's not secret IP. All this is IP that the Board of Peace is going to make public, and we want to encourage all the countries to be able to follow these best practices. A lot of the things that President Trump is doing in America, if they're working, we should all be copying them. If we find what's working in other countries, we should be copying them too. And so what the Board of Peace will have the ability to do if we're successful with Gaza is really show how do you do peace implementation, which is something that when we got this deal done, we didn't really find too much expertise or know-how on how to do it. So as we're creating this system, hopefully it's something that we can just document these learnings and make them available to all else who want to use them in the future. So demilitarization, this is something we're starting now. We have a new government in Gaza. This government will be working with Hamas on the demilitarization to really take the principles that were agreed to in the document to the next phase. And hopefully that will be successful. Without that, we can't rebuild. So if Hamas does not demilitarize, that will be what holds back Gaza and the people of Gaza from achieving their aspiration, and that's very important. So the next 100 days, we're going to continue to just be heads down and focused on making sure this is implemented. We continue to be focused on humanitarian aid, humanitarian shelter, but then creating the conditions to move forward. So thank you. Final point I'll just make is this is really only possible because of the work of so many people and President Trump's great leadership. But a lot of you have been asking, how can we help? So the countries have all been incredibly generous. We'll be doing the first conference where we'll announce a lot of the contributions that will be made in a couple of weeks in Washington. From the private sector, there'll be amazing investment opportunities. I know it's a little risky to be investing in a place like this, but we need you to come, take faith, invest in the people, try to be a part of it. And then finally, I'll just talk to people on the media and on the social media, which is, this deal only happened because we worked with Israel, we worked with Turkey, we worked with Qatar, we worked with Saudi, we worked with Egypt. I mean, everyone worked together. We worked with UAE. We all worked together to make this happen. I see a lot of people trying to escalate, criticizing Israel or Israelis criticizing Turkey or Qatar. Just calm down for 30 days. I think that the war's over. Let's do our best to try working together. Our goal here is peace between Israel and the Palestinian people. Everyone wants to live peacefully. Everyone wants to live with dignity. Let's put our efforts towards promoting those who are doing the work to build this up, like Ali and his committee. Let's focus on the positive stories, and let's just calm down, turn a new chapter. And if we believe that peace is possible, then peace really can be possible. So we're going to continue to work every day. We need all of your help to do it. And again, I just really want to thank President Trump for his leadership in doing this. This would not have been possible without your commitment to this. Everyone thought it was impossible to end this war. You never gave up. You never stopped. Every time there was a setback, you told us to try harder. You gave us different ideas. And we've made several impossible things happen just in Gaza to date. And there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to make even more impossible things happen. So really, thank you for your amazing leadership.
So, to give you an FYI of what this is, the Board of Peace is looking, Donald Trump is looking to dismantle the United Nations and create Board of Peace. Now, I don't believe the United Nations is good, but I certainly know the Board of Peace ain't good either. Because when they say peace now, we understand these are murderers. um, so with that being said, you have to see where the world is going, right? This is the truth. Mercy and truth shall purge iniquity. The truth shall set you free. Understanding what is happening, right? Now, if you understand the truth and the reality, you understand that it can save your life, which is wisdom and knowledge. Wisdom and knowledge. The Board of Peace, right? And guess what? If you didn't know, Donald Trump will be the forever president of the Board of Peace, which means even if he's no longer in charge of the United States, he will be always and forever in charge of the Board of Peace. And here's something someone made. I thought it was wild, but hey, if it gets to the point of what you understand, so be it.
Once this board is completely formed, we can do pretty much whatever we want to do.
Now, you have to understand. You have to understand the world is turning and turning and turning and turning. But before we get there into some more wonderful, crazy videos, because we're about to get in some crazy videos, let's go ahead and turn to the apocalypse of Zephaniah. And that's also in the pseudographia as well. I think, oh, there we go. Thank you. And this is going to be chapter 7. And I've read this before, but I wanted to kind of hit home, you know. So this is Apocalypse of Zephaniah, chapter 7. And if you've never read it, hey, read it. It only makes sense for you too. I mean, hey, Knowledge and wisdom is going to save your life. Now, reading from verse 1, this is the Apocalypse of Zephaniah. Then I looked and saw him with a manuscript in his hand, and he began to unroll it. Now, after he spread it out and I read it in my own language, I found that all my sins which I had done were written in it, those which I had done from my youth until this day. They were all written upon that manuscript of mine without there being a false word in them. If I did not go to visit a sick man or widow, I found it written down as a shortcoming upon my manuscript. If I did not visit an orphan, it was found written down as a shortcoming on my manuscript. A day on which I did not fast or pray in the time of prayer, I found it written down as a failing upon my manuscript. And a day when I did not turn to the sons of Israel, since it is a shortcoming, I found written down upon my manuscript. Now keep in mind, these are the real children of Israel, not the synagogue of Satan. So that I threw myself upon my face and prayed, that's prostrating, before the Lord Almighty. May your mercy reach me, and may you wipe out my manuscript, because your mercy has come to be in every place and has filled every place. Full stop. Now, as the world is getting worse, I want you to recognize your opportunities to prove yourself are also shortening. Because think about this, right? Maybe 10 years ago, you can go places and you could find homeless people. You can give them a shirt, give them some socks, give them some food, right? They're passing laws in countries, no homeless people, things like that. So you're seeing less, which means you have less opportunity to do. Maybe you can't get in the hospital and or going to a clinic and help someone, maybe, or just visit them and just say, hey, stay strong. Maybe they don't allow those things anymore, right? The opportunity in many places for you to do the things that Most High said is becoming faint, very, very distant. And as things get worse, taxes in all countries get worse, oppression gets worse, and it becomes hard and harder and harder and harder. And of course, the Most High will have mercy in areas which He will have mercy. I can't sit there and tell you the Most High is going to have mercy in everyone's situation, but He will have mercy the way He chooses. The Bible tells us what? He will have mercy and compassion on whom He chooses. Right? It may not be you. It may be you. It may be someone you think who don't even deserve it. That's not up to you and me to decide. It's the Most High. One thing I do know is that we should never say, oh, God's got me, because at this point, you just say, no mercy, no forgiveness, no humility, no nothing that you need. You just know for a certain fact. And there's too many texts out here that are found and true that do not align with this saying that God's got me. So many things align with, you shall know them by their fruits, right? You shall know them by their fruits. Doing what's proper, praying, fasting, giving to the sick, helping the widows, helping the blind, helping the homeless, praying on time, There's too many things out here that can align with what Christ's teachings were all about for you to be saying, God's got me. So, with that being said, in the scope of mercy and truth, you're seeing this alignment of all the things that you should be doing or doing better. I challenge you all, and I mean, I think I've said this before, I know I do it for myself, but set and set yourself on your born day, your birthday, the day you were born, right? And say, you know what? By the time my birthday comes, what do I want to achieve with the Most High? Forget about worldly things and well, maybe a clothes or a shirt or something. Just set your goal and see where you are with the Most High, and if anything has changed, because you should be changing for good. Are you praying more? Are you doing more than one or two prayers? Are you consistent? Are you exercising? Are you keeping your temple together? Are you seeing how you could reach the poor or the widows? Are you seeing how you could assist someone more? What is it that you're doing? Right? Use your birthday, not the new year, right? Because the Most High knows the number of hairs on your head, and He knows everything about you. So it shouldn't be about a new year. It should be about Him giving, if He decides to give you an additional year of life, you're gonna say, I'm gonna use this year to get closer. And then the following year, maybe if I didn't miss something or if things change, okay, Most High, this is what I've done. Please let me know if you see me in good standings, and then do it again. Right? Or do something more. This is how mercy and truth purge the sin. Now, this is the hard part, brothers and sisters. This is the hard part. Once upon a time, once upon a time in the book of Luke, Christ spoke. And he mentioned something to all of us. But many people kind of failed to realize. And now we're at that point. You may ask, what is that point? I'm going to read to you John chapter 8. Luke. Luke chapter 8. I'm going to start from the left. Luke chapter 8, verse 17 reads, For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. On the right, for nothing is hidden, but it will be made clear, nothing secret, but it will be made known and brought to light. Now, you can also go into Luke 12. little precept there. On the left, for there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed, neither hid that shall not be known. Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in the ear is in closets shall be proclaimed upon the housetops. Reading, be on guard against the yeast or the leaven of the Pharisees, that is their hypocrisy. Everything that is now covered will be uncovered, and everything now hidden will be made clear. For this reason, whatever you have said in the dark will be heard in the daylight, and what you have whispered in hidden places will be proclaimed on the housetops. And what we're seeing right now in the world is just that. And I want to share with you all, it's kind of startling. I want you to think about it. It's kind of startling. Viewer discretion is advised.
Many people don't know that our enemy was not just a flesh and blood, but spiritual as well. The gangs didn't just murder, rape, extort, they also worship Satan. Straight up, literally. When we went to their homes to arrest them, we discovered altars they've been using for satanic rituals. This is well documented. We put up the pictures, the videos right away. But for some reason, the global mainstream media didn't think it was worth it to cover it. But we know gangs in El Salvador were satanic and they worship Satan, and some of those gangs are here in the United States.
Now, aka they came from the United States. Notice how he mentioned, I don't think you understand how demonic evil things are. People literally worship the devil. And I know their flag has like the all seeing eye thing or the pyramid. That's in question, right? Because I'm like, what's going on there? But to be one of the presidents of a country to come out and say that gangs worship Lucifer, Satan, is out of this world, because so many young people, even older people, are so influenced by gang activity, joining gangs, and so forth. When it comes out that the gang culture is about worshiping the devil, that's pretty big. Now, it goes a bit further. Like I said, viewer discretion is advised, because it goes a bit further. We begin to see that gangs is the inner city terror, right? And then the government is the lawmaking terror, right? If you had no gangs, people would come together. Think about that. There would be no one to terrorize the people. There would be no drugs. There would be nothing to destroy the mentality of people, right? But all is being revealed.
You know they eat babies. That is not bullshit. It's true.
So it's not just the dogs and the cats, not just the pets.
It's not just the dogs and the cats. They're full-on vampires. And everybody still thinks I'm crazy, but I'm not crazy. They're full-on vampires. They love the taste of human flesh and they drink human blood. They do, Tucker. Stop staring at me like that.
You're freaking me out, man. Because you spent your life in the entertainment business, so I think you have some authority on this.
So many kids that I was in mental institutions with over the years, they are all from those cults. And they've covered it all up. They've covered it all up. And, you know, I just pray to God. I'm just going to pray to God that he opens everybody's eyes in this country. By the time we go into vote for Trump, that he will open up everybody's eyes and they will stop pretending to be asleep. You know what they say, you can't wake people up that are pretending to be asleep, but I pray to God, please wake up even those who are pretending to be asleep with the irrefutable truth of what the worst people on this planet are really up to. They are really up to that. They're doing it. There are so many victims. There are so many victims. There are so many children victims that are now adults. The epidemic in America is child sexual abuse, and I just want people to see it. I want people to open up their eyes and see how prevalent and horrible it is. 1 of 3 girls, 1 of 4 boys in this country today. It's just horrible, and you just can't lie it away anymore. It's going to get more and more apparent, and you got to choose your side.
Now, I remember Mr. Schaub said that. I said, you got to choose your side. Pick a side, pick a side, pick a side. You got to pick a side. You got to pick a side. You got to pick a side. Now, this was years ago before Trump got in office. Now, and the scary part is all the people that supported Donald Trump all the people that supported Donald Trump, they dismissed the fact that he was on the Epstein island and had parties in his Mar-a-Lago and all those things. They dismissed the fact. Now you may say, what does this have to do with the good book, right? But there is something. We're going to go back into Isaiah 33. And we're going to see if the good book tells us something regarding this. And maybe you want to believe it, maybe you don't. But I'm here to share it with you. Anywho. Now, we spoke about knowledge and wisdom. It's the stability at times. No. That's not this scripture. Of course not. Let's read from verse 10, shall we? Now will I rise, saith the Lord. Now will I be exalted. Now will I lift up myself. Ye shall conceive chaff. Ye shall bring forth stubble. Your breath as fire shall devour you. And the people shall be as the burnings of lime, as thorns cut up. Shall they be burned in the fire? Hear ye that are far off what I have done, and ye that are near acknowledge my might. The sinners in Zion are afraid. Fearfulness hath surprised the hypocrites? Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell with everlasting burnings? He that walketh righteously speaketh uprightly. He that despiseth the gain of oppressions, that shaketh his hands from holding of bribes, that he stoppeth his ears from hearing of blood, and shutteth his eyes from seeing evil. He shall dwell on high places. His high place of defense shall be the munition of rocks. Bread shall be given him. His waters shall be sure. Thine eyes shall see the king in his beauty, and they shall behold the land that is far off. Now, let's read on the right. Now I stand up, says the Most High. Now will I rise to my full height. You have conceived chaff. You will give birth to straw. My breath shall devour you like fire. The peoples will be reduced to lime, to cut thorns. They will be burnt in the fire. You who are far away, listen to what I've done. And you who are near, realize my strength. Sinners in Zion are struck with horror, and fear seizes on the godless. Which of us can live with this devouring fire? Which of us can exist in everlasting flames? He who acts with integrity, who speaks sincerely and rejects extortionate profit, who waves away bribes from his hands, shuts suggestions of murder out of his ears, and closes his eyes against crime. This man will dwell in the heights, and he will find refuge at a citadel built on a rock. On rock. Bread will be given him, and he shall not want for water. Your eyes are going to look on a king in his beauty, and you will see the immense country. Your heart will look back on its fears. Now, this is what we are being called to do at this very moment. Notice how this was the same scripture. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of times. So if you understood what that means at this very moment that we are all alive, the Most High is paying attention to see who does such things, who acts in integrity, speaks sincerely, mercy, right? Rejects gain, that is through oppression, extortion, rejects bribes, who disagrees with murder. And no, this doesn't mean close your eyes against crime. It means do not commit crime. Because if you go into the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, it tells you from verse 10, my son, if sinners entice thee, consent thou not. If they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privily for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, and as whole as they go down into the pit. We shall find all precious substance. We shall fill our houses with spoil. Cast in thy lots among us. Let us all have one purse. My son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot from their path, for their feet run to evil and make haste. Shed blood surely in vain. The net is spread in the sight of any bird, and they lay wait for their own blood. They lurk privily for their own lives. So are the ways of everyone that is greedy of gain, which taketh away the life of the owners thereof. Sound like that board of peace in the Gaza plan, right? From Kushner, taking away someone's own property, giving it to another. They do the same thing in many countries. I know Ethiopia, they've done it too. In the United States, historically, gentrification, and they'll do it through taxation and things of that nature, and the redlining. So the Most High says, "He who is against evils." Now, here's where it becomes really scary, right? Because what you're seeing, and we'll just use the United States, right? When you use Republican and Democrat, right? Independent, green, all that stuff, right? All that hoopla. Now you begin to have a motive. People, they say people vote for what? People vote for who's in their interest. But see, right there, that's the problem. Because the Most High is not looking for you to vote for anyone. He's looking for you to call out these things and have integrity, speak with sincerity and politeness, mercy, respect to one another, reject gain of oppression, profit, bribes, speak out against murders, and don't do evil crimes just because people can't see it or you think they can't see it. Now, here's the thing, right? When you vote, what happens? Now, and this is crazy, right? All right, hold on now. If you've ever voted, and I voted once, right, in my lifetime when I turned 18, I thought, oh, yeah, right? I think we've all voted once, right? And I want you to understand when you voted for a person, you also voted for their evils at that time, for their sins, for their disgraces. So imagine, right? Now that we're in the truth, we're serving the Most High, we've repented of these things. But think about the people who really believe in this voting process. Yeah. So you voted in people to abuse children. And you still vote. And you still believe that party. And you still believe you're good. Never mind. Never mind. We should just never mind it. Right. Now, these videos are going to get worse. I'm letting you know. The mindset of people is going to begin to scare you. Okay? I'm letting you know. It's going to begin to scare you if you are in the United States and Europe, in the European nation. It's going to begin to scare you. Like this.
He knew everybody that was very powerful. So, like, if you were on the scene and you were powerful, like, to be honest, like, if you're not in those files, it would be an insult because it just means that you were a bit of a loser.
Right. So the people who aren't in the files are these.
Yes.
Okay. Are you in the files?
Well, of course I am, because it's any journalist that wrote about it.
That's an astonishing attitude, isn't it? You're the loser because you're not in this. I find that jaw-dropping.
So, yes, they were talking about the Epstein list. And this woman said, if you're not on the Epstein list, then you're a loot. Now, in the right world, these people, all of them should be arrested. They should be in jail. What you and I have to do in the truth is endure. Now, think about this. It's even more scary now. You mean to tell me that you had these emails, you had these files, and you knew of these things that they're doing, but you go after the people, you have jails and prisons that are packed with people who have done crimes not even close to the things that they have done. And these people are serving 25 years, 15 years, life. Now we have to live through understanding that your justice systems around the world will never save you. And just if you may even use them, understand that they will be against you. Yes, understand they will be against you. And you'll sit there and say, how could they arrest someone over parking tickets and failed parking tickets? But there's people who meeting in dark places and doing atrocities to children and women, and you still let them travel and fly and buy and do everything they want. That's the scary part. Understanding that the world isn't fair. And there are a lot of people who said this. A lot of what people would call the used to be minority um, ethnicities, blacks and Hispanics. They say, oh, things are not fair. And now people are understanding this is a sick, sick world. Of course, things aren't fair. Look at it. Politicians have immunity. You bow before that stone, that rock of Satan, and guess what? That image of Satan, and guess what happens? And you know what? Now they have clowns like this. And I'm going to say, all these people who are doing this whole thing about the Super Bowl, these people are clowns. I want you to think about this. These people talking about America first. These people are certified circus clowns. People talking about the Super Bowl. These are certified clowns. For goodness sake, you have people admitting to some of the worst crimes, and they do nothing. But this seems to be the topic of discussion.
Sorry, Piers, but to get up there and perform the whole show in Spanish is a middle finger to the rest of America. Who gives a damn that we have 40 million Spanish speakers in the United States? We have 310 million who don't speak a lick of Spanish. This is supposed to be a unifying event for the country, not for the Latinos, not for one small group, but for the country. We don't need a black national anthem. We don't need a Spanish-speaking, non-English performer, and we don't need an ICE or America hater featured as our primetime entertainment.
Okay, what is the national language, officially, the national language of the United States of America?
I mean, English. And there's been a push for many years to make it an official,
you don't have one.
Documented thing.
You don't have one.
If you would let me finish my comments, I would have pointed that out. People have been pushing to make it official.
Okay, so you're trying to make official.
This attitude that you have right here is why you in Great Britain have lost your culture. You ceded your culture to a bunch of radical Muslims who came in and took over, and now it's gone. We're not allowing that here. Whether it's Hispanic, whether it's Muslim, it's not happening in the United States of America. That's why President Trump was elected. And whether it's Bad Bunny, who is American but refuses to speak English in his performances, or anybody else, We have to keep the Super Bowl, which is a quintessential American event. Football, that kind of football, is ours. They call it American football. And the halftime show and everything around it needs to stay quintessentially American. Not Spanish, not Muslim, not anything other than good old-fashioned American apple pie. There should be a meatloaf, maybe some fried chicken, and an English-speaking performer. That's what the Super Bowl should be.
As you know, there were so many wrong things in there. But some meatloaf, some fried. This is this is where America's going, right? You see? He said they wanted the rededicate. They wanted to separate. Has it not begun? I mean, it was already there, but it was already there. And I'm not going for anyone there, right? Because when you look at the reality of what happened, right? Regarding that Super Bowl. So I did some research and excuse me. And so I looked it up and let's see. Let's see. Give me 1 second. I looked this up, right? And I found out what it was. And I've already shared this before. Okay. So um here we'll do it this way. Right? So here is the osprey. All right, now if you remember lessons before, you know where we're going here. So we'll type in osprey. You see a sea eagle, sea hawk, it's the same thing, right? Bird of prey. Now, this word means sea eagle, osprey, bone breaker, a vulture. Now, I will tell you, it means to break. All right, okay. Um, now, let's go osprey or osprey, right? Unclean fish eating, right? And let's just check it out. Okay, claw eagle, right? Now, if you remember the family of the vultures, okay, this comes from who? This comes from Lilith. That's right. That was a while back I did that. Now, here the thing is, and just a little fun fact for the Super Bowl, right? So you have the sea eagle, which is the seahawk, the osprey, which is technically the bone breaker, versus the Patriots. Now, the Department of Homeland in the United States coined 2026 as the year of the Patriot. Huh? And then, surprisingly, the Patriots made the Super Bowl. Let me show that to you. It says here, Department of Homeland Security, has designated 2026 as the year of the Patriot. And recognizes the United States, the nation's 250th anniversary. Key objectives: rule of law, restoring rule of law, securing border, enhancing cybersecurity, and improving disaster response. Kind of interesting, that disaster response, eh? Anywho, nothing to really see there. But the year of the Patriot, it generally refers to initial chaotic and transformative period in American evolution. Hold on now. Initial and chaotic and transformative. So if you are living in the United States, you understand that this is a transformative chaos, meaning you are tethering the line of something really bad. Okay. And as you can see, they give you the things here, right? So it says during this time, the Patriot identity emerged as colonists transitioned from protesting British policies to armed rebellion and ultimately form a declaration of independence. So what do you see in the United States? Protesting policies, and sooner or later there would be armed rebellion. Hmm. Did anyone know that ICE agents, did anyone know that the requirement, you just have to be 18? Did you know that you don't need a degree? Did you know that you could be a child right out of high school? Did you know that? Quite interesting, huh? Anywho, nothing's to worry about. But anywho, what happened along this time? The outbreak of an armed conflict. Since you're going back and wanting patriots, right? Battle of Lexington and Concord. That's the northeast of the U.S. Are considered the start of a revolution. Local militia engaged British soldiers. So what you would have to take from that point is local militias, people separating into ideologies. You're having to go out together 2, 3 at a time, being very careful, right? Formation of an army. Oh, this would be a different army. Evolution of the term, while patriot previously referred to political dissidents in Britain, American writers adopted the term to define colonists advocated for the independence of their soil from the British rule now. Pro-America. And then I thought this was really interesting because we know when you look up the word, this term birth of a nation, it showed Nat Turner in the movie of slavery and the rebels and revolting. And yeah, it just doesn't seem like much is good going to happen in the United States. Just further breaking down of people and ideologies and more separation. Because remember, there's a reason for this, okay? It's chaotic on purpose. It's chaotic on purpose, okay? It's chaotic on purpose. Now, how bad does it get? And so this woman, right? She she was saying all those things. Okay, they don't want Hispanics. They don't want the black national anthem, which they did at the Super Bowl. They opened it up with the black national anthem. And they were all in a fury, right? So they had, and then I don't support, you know, Bad Bunny or any bunnies or any musical people or whatever, right? But I want you to check this out. I thought this was interesting. This video here that this man did. Okay, and and I'm gonna show you. So this man did this video. Check this out.
Do you want to know what was more evil and worse than the Bad Bunny halftime show last night? The Turning Point show. And if you don't agree, you should give me a minute. Because if you're even remotely awake, you see the agenda pushing and the 666 and the one eye symbolism and the black and white duality and the one eye covered nonsense. He's a Satanist and he's a wolf. But you know what I prefer? I prefer a wolf versus a wolf in sheep's clothing. Because that's what they are. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. They're vaccines for people who still think vaccines are good for you. There's a light side to Bad Bunny's dark, but they're both wings of the same evil, satanic, Luciferian fallen angel bird. They're the light, as in the white, because they get you with duality. They pin us against each other. But they all come from the same satanic bird. This is the guy you think is the better options? Young ladies, I like them underage. See, some say that's statutory, but I say it's mandatory. Good choice, people. Brantley Gilbert up there? You mean this guy, or maybe the Masonic hand symbol guy, or maybe the devil horns guy, or maybe the don't tell that I'm part of the club and you don't realize because I'm a wolf in sheep's clothing? Or maybe this one where his arms are crossed in the Masonic way with the devil horns. Good choice, people. Oh, but Lee Bryce, he's okay. No one-eye symbolism there. Oh, and yeah, Turning Point's great patriotic Super Bowl. They're all Christian-loving. Faith, family, freedom, which is the sixth letter of the alphabet, 666. You see, I mean no disrespect, but what a lot of people need to realize is if they're on the TV, if they're being presented to you and they're on the world stage, well, they're all, doesn't matter if they package them up in a nice little Christian or American loving box, they're all part of the same club. And they always tell you, you just don't do enough research, or you don't realize how much of a spiritual world you actually live in, where they're not just pretending to worship Satan. They do. They all follow him. I mean, all of them, even the poor, fake, crying widows. And if you still think that means I love you and not I love you, Satan, well, you have some research to do again. But of course, all this for entertainment purposes. I'm sure that Kid Rock really didn't mean anything when he said that. And he definitely isn't doing devil horns and devil horns and devil horns. No, that's a clever way of saying rock. Just like that's a normal way to hold your hands while holding a mic. Just like those are perfectly normal ways to hold your hands. All part of this.
So I don't support anyone, but I will tell you, wee. But let's see, right? So Bad Bunny, what he stands for. Everyone knows that, right? And, you know, I thought it was interesting because it was such an emphasis on him. And yes, I watched it and I was like, man, it was horrible, right? Like, no one wants to see women shaking their rear ends. No one wants to see men grinding. I mean, there could have been an emphasis, I like the emphasis on the cultures, but it didn't need to be vulgar, right? And it didn't need to be profane with the rear end shaking and the twerking and the men grinding. Like, there's a way you can show your culture without those things. But That's who that person is. That's what that person stands for. And what that man in the last video said, it is true. Even Christ said, beware of those who are wolves in sheep's clothing. It's better to see the wolf than the person who pretends to be the sheep, right? So let's see what he's referring to. And let's take it past symbology. Okay, let's take it past the basics of symbology. This is Kid Rock at the I think they called it the All American, and I did watch that one too. The All American Turning Point. Um, All American Turning Point uh, uh, halftime show.
There's a book that's sitting in your house somewhere that could use some dusting off. There's a man who died for all our sins. Hanging from the cross, you can give your life to Jesus, and He'll give you the second chance till you can't take it.
All right, and he did more than one song. He did more than one. But you're gonna start seeing these artists, right, put Christ in their songs even more. And I don't know who this woman is, but she seems to be some artist. And it came up on my news feed, and I was like, what? But listen, just listen. Where these celebrities like Kid Rock and all this turning point is taking people in the U.S.
I bet Jesus would be from the South today. Jesus wasn't from Kentucky, but sure sounds like it could be. Maybe I'm just reading in between those red letter lines. He was born in a small town, hung out with a rough crowd. Yeah, he sounds like a fishing in the river, family dinner kind of guy. Down here in this slice of heaven, he'd feel right at home, I reckon. He'd be the world's best neighbor, never met a stranger, turning well water into ice cold beer, passing down stories on a back 40, but Mac and Mark flew right at old John Deere, shocking blue collar gentlemen, fixing things with cow sense. We don't know the Bible don't say, but I bet Jesus will be from the South today.
Now, what in the world is happening?
Cow says we don't know the Bible don't say, but I bet Jesus will be.
We don't know the Bible. At some point, turning water into beer, blaspheming the books with John Dick. There's no sense of I'm gonna get judged for the ones I say. And it's not funny, but it's disgraceful. But this is where it's going, right? Now, cover your ears now. Going back to Mr. Kid Rock, their turning point, focal point, right? This is this person, and it gets worse. Okay, just bear with me now. Okay, this was an old concert. Okay, since we know them by their fruits.
You want me to get political?
Now, it's disgraceful, but listen.
You want me to get political? Well, this is about as deep as Kid Rock thinks. Monica Lewinsky is a fucking hoe, and Bill Clinton is a goddamn pimp. Now, a little message to all my motherfucking beautiful people in the house. The early morning stone pimp, I'm gonna break it down and let you know what I think it's all about. Next time somebody comes up to you, they want to argue, fight, scream, and shout, just look the motherfucker dead in the eyes and simply tell them,
you want my balls in your mouth.
Yeah, you heard that right. Now that's the same man who says, go and get that Bible that you got dust on. No, no, no. But it gets worse. You ready? You ready? So Christians are, and this is why Albert Pike said, he said, the Most High gave them a prophecy about Christianity being destroyed. Well, look at who you're following. Fair use for this one.
Years, shit like that. I'm like, fuck, this is cool.
Oh,
But
wow.
And yes, this does have language. I hope they let it play. Oh, Most High, please let it just play through.
years, shit like that. I'm like, fuck, this is cool.
Oh,
But the
wow.
first day,
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll just play it regular for you. Because I knew it would work that way. Right?
years, shit like that. I'm like, fuck, this is cool.
Okay, brothers, sisters, we'll do it this way.
Years, shit like that. I'm like, fuck, this is cool.
Oh, wow.
But the first day, it was the first evening, and you gather around whatever the owl. Years, shit like that. I'm like, fuck, this is cool.
Oh,
But the
wow.
first day, it was the first evening, and you gather around whatever the owl by this lake, if I remember correctly, which could be a little hazy. It was a long time ago. And like I've heard about this place. I'm like, this is some real secret ass shit, man. I can't believe I'm fucking here, right? And it's just a trove of celebrities, fucking everywhere you turn. It's just fucking A, fucking A. So you go there, and I'm like thinking we're gonna hear some shit, right? They're about to introduce the first speaker, and I'm like, fuck, this is gonna be some shit. And they're like, and no offense against this guy, we consider him friendly. We have very good mutual friends, but they're like, ladies and gentlemen, Tony Danza. And I'm like, what? I'm like, come on, man. Who's the fucking boss? Tell them bitches. Wish he would have just gone up there and been like, who's the boss, bitch?
That's hilarious.
I was like, no fucking way, man. I was like, we came all the way to this secret ass shit. And I love Tony. Fucking love him. But I'm like, come on, man. I was like, they brought Reagan back from the dead and he's going to speak or hologram or some shit. Like,
You were hoping for some devil shit.
just some crazy shit one
Yeah.
way or the other. He was a very good speaker, I got to say, but
Maybe they toned it down. Maybe they toned
This
it
has to be
down
20
after
years
they'd been
ago.
infiltrated. Oh, really?
I'm terrible with dates, but it's a long time ago.
Okay, because when Alex snuck in was like the 90s, Jamie? What was it? Like when Alex Jones and John Ronson snuck into Bohemian Grove. That's when they first got that video.
Yes, Christians. They're talking about the face of Christianity, who was doing the turning point. He participates in the Bohemian Owl Grove. So many people are being led to the slaughter. Have mercy. And first, it starts with the spiritual slaughter. First, it starts with the spiritual.
This is like the 90s, Jamie? What was it? Like when Alex Jones and John Ronson snuck into Bohemian Grove. That's when they first got that video. I want to say it was in the 90s. I want to say it was like 99 or something like that.
I did have some fun there, I gotta say. It was fucking weird. I met like
And he had fun where they worship Satan. But is it Christian? I think not. He's a deceiver.
Paul Pelosi and his son,
Oh boy.
and like Chris Matthews. Like, you know,
Oh,
but I was
okay.
hanging out with them. We were having cool conversations.
That's
Kind of
cool.
weird. And then they asked me like I had to come play my guitar
Oh no.
and like sing at one of these camp things. And I was like, I feel so used. I feel so dirty. Like, I don't do this shit, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's got to be weird. Hey man, play us a song.
Well, it's kind of like a unspoken requirement, like a wink, wink. Like you need to
Oh.
take your guitar over there. You know, if you want to be in good graces or be a team player type deal. And I'm like, yeah, I really don't.
Yep. You heard it. No, 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 but he is a liar. Maybe, just maybe, Maybe that was just, AI. Maybe that doesn't exist.
They're eating babies, man. Like that's
Do you think so that you think is real? So
well, yeah. Not only that, I think that there's sacrifices going on every.
Now, this is a Hollywood director, by the way. So, yeah, let's just listen.
They're eating babies, man. Like that's
do you think so that you think is real? So
well, yeah. Not only that, I think that there's sacrifices going on every day in Los Angeles. I mean, allegedly, like, high level musicians, let's say, high level female musician is like, killing chickens every day, doing sacrifices, like,
high level.
Well, I don't want to say. I don't want to say names because I don't want to get sued, and I don't want to be dead either.
What does it rhyme with? Here's the purchase order. I started looking at the comments for some stuff. Not that.
So yes, they do these things. You love it. It's America. That's what they love. They love evil. They thrive off of evil. And I'm sorry, you guys. I gotta see it. You need to know it. You gotta see it. You gotta see it. It's only getting worse. It's only becoming worse. No use.
Every time I look into your loving eyes, I see love and money just can't buy. One look from you, I drift away. I pray that you are here to stay. Anything you want, you got it. Anything you need, you got it. Anything at all, you got it. Every time I hold you, I begin to understand. Everything about you tells me I'm your man. I live my life to be with you. No one can do the thing you do. Anything you want, you got it. Anything you need, you got it. Anything at all, you got it. Anything you want, you got it. Anything you need, anything at all.
Now, there was a lot in there to 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 um to break down. So I'm not gonna play it again. But what I will do is break down just a couple, and you can find this video. So obviously, he's walking in his, um, you know, little temple there, and they're showing dentistry and how the dentist, did things to children to make them go missing, and we all know who that is. Anywho, Um, Now, the pizza and the hot dog and Nickelodeon, we understand that is supposed to be the director for the Nickelodeon shows where they, did things to children. Unfortunately, the star actors, this is the Clips artists with Jay-Z and Harvey Weinstein behind them, as they also did things as well, and he had children as well. Terrible, including Pharrell, and there's quite a lot of people. And then everyone knows about the NBA and the kids, and yeah, how they're groomed up into these athletes. Not all of them, but the big star level ones. Okay, and then you have like the G League is for the people like you and me who are real people who think they're gonna get a shot in the Fallen Angels NBA. But anywho, um, and the news outlets, Bill Gates, and did you see the have mercy? Did you see his wife, Bill Gates, wanted a divorce when um, he gave her a STD from committing terrible acts on this island. Um, so yeah, that's why there's the blood there. Um, yeah, everyone knows about these guys. Okay, he's had many pictures with Mother Teresa there, who was not a motherly person, and the Pope, who was not so nice um, person. And we know about the this guy, the Dalai Lama, and boys. Um, we know definitely about that person, and everyone knows about. I'm not sure who that is, right? But everyone knows these are the Gen Z boys, the island boys, they call them. Um, yeah, pretty disturbing. These two are supposedly brothers, made an OnlyFans together, and yeah, and they're supposed to be his son, who were on the island, by the way. Products of, yeah, don't know who this doctor is, but I do know they had pretty big um, dealings with Harvard professors and different professors in the US and doctors. Activision, well, because if you didn't know, Call of Duty is made, and they have Call of Duty because it's made from the Pentagon. So, yeah. Um, Anywho, all video games have to go through them as well. Yeah, that's for another day for another story. These are just members of the government. And yes, it has come out that he has created Bitcoin, not the Asian man that they say. I think the man who was Asian, who they killed, had an alternative that was doing well and had, I guess, angles to get people into the Bitcoin, and he was unalive. And then, ISIS and how he created many factions of that. Um, Movie directors, of course, Joe Biden. And I thought this was really cool, right? Because he had two Joe Bidens, and many of you don't know that in 2019 he had uh, a email stating that Joe Biden, the real one, had been unalived for years. So what we saw in the presidency was a totally different person. Disclosure, doesn't it feel good? And of course, you have those who are behind Trump today. Knowing the Epstein files, they came out and refused to share with people. Then you have Trump with Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and Sam, I can't remember his name. Yeah, and I have no idea who that is. But just showing you, and you obviously know who that is with Lilith at the top there. And look at that, cyber attack across the country coming soon, anytime now, right? So, yeah, a lot is going on, and and then that leads me, and I got to do it. I contemplated about this one, right? Because the Muslims are going in a frenzy. But we're going to do it anyway because we got to. We got to unravel the truth because the truth will make everybody down. I mean, it wouldn't be fair if we didn't expose all things, right? We don't want to be biased. From left to right, let's go. Shall we? In the middle and the left woman are the same people, by the way. Here we go.
My goal here is not to preach, but really to build the case that investing in women is not just the right thing to do, but it's also the smart thing to do. It's a strategic choice that I would like to present to you in this conference. Investing in women. Sweden, for example, investing means support in the home, burden sharing, ensuring that women have access to not only to the pocket, to the heart, to the mind, to all of these things that we take for granted.
You take for granted, huh? Your sister, for one, other children, for two. Um, you're a dog. Now, here's the thing, right? This is a woman. These elites, they're playing a game, right? They got women out here, pro women, feminism, feminism, feminism. We don't need the man. You sold your sister. You want to be positive. I want you to understand. If you ever believe feminism and all these human rights and these people, wow, they're talking. If you ever believe them, you should pray. And I'm going to pray for you. Because how stupid, anyone who believes these people are stupid. And uh, and we're praying for people to come out of this slumber, right? But the Bible says they can't unless they want to themselves, right? Because the Bible, if you were, and we'll just use the Quran, right? Remember we shared in the Quran, it says not to believe in the Arabs from the desert, which is all the Middle East. The Quran stated that they were all hypocrites. I think they're now beginning to see that, and it's going to peel layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. Um, yeah, yeah. And a lot of the Muslims in the Middle East are like, we shouldn't talk about this. This is haram. Just talking about it. Hey, Hind Alawas to Jeffrey Epstein. Getting one girl ready is difficult enough. Two girls you can certainly call a challenge. We might even be late. Let Susan call me if you are on a tight schedule. Huh? Say what? Are you in town? My sister is here, and I have told her so much about you. I want her to meet you. Let me know when. Kisses. Um, if you still believe in any politicians and any of these governmental groups, I'm gonna let you know you have a problem. And if you work for them, you're going to the same place they're going. I'm just telling you because none of these people are proper. Okay, not one, not one, not one, not one, not one.
But really, to build the case that investing in women is not just the right thing to do, but it's also the smart thing to do. It's a strategic choice that I would like to present to you in this conference. Investing in women. Sweden, for example.
Let's pause it now. There you go. Already in discussions with blank on time. I'm so excited to see you and introduce you to my sister. She's even prettier than me. Uh, what? Any day till sun. Would you like to come to lunch on Saturday with her? What? These people are animals. These people are animals. Yeah, we we're going to expose it. Because this is disclosure.
This man, Sultan bin Sulayem, who appeared in the files pretty consistently, and Jeffrey Epstein thought extremely fondly of him. They're talking about an upcoming visit that he's making with Jeffrey, and they are being precise to ensure his dietary requirements are met, which are no pork. I kid you not. This man is close friends with a known pedophile, a sex trafficker who is known to be committing these heinous crimes. Again, among some of the crimes that are alleged through the files are even assassinations, interference with government operations and things of that nature. And obviously the exploitation of women and children, literally the abuse and even deaths of women and children. But thank God he does not eat pork.
And that's wild, right? The email was about not eating pork. You got a lot more to worry about. Will you have a moment this week to speak about the following week with me? I am available whenever works best for you. Of course, you're available. You don't work. Exactly, Sultan is Muslim. Thanks for remembering. Man, I'm telling you, right? That that is no pork. Correct. Dinner on the 28th. Got it. No pork. So hey, I'm gonna share this, right? In the United States, they are going about, oh, Bad Bunny, right? And the world is experiencing something that you couldn't even imagine. I mean, I'm gonna let you know, right? It just is wild, right? It's just wild. So on the left, you have people protesting because their leaders are in these files. Some religious people you are. And then have the nerve to have a chop, chop, square. I would be mad too. And then the people of New Delhi in India. That's the youth, supposedly.
हम सभी पे लाठीचार्ज किया गया। जिस तरीके से हम लोगों को रोकने का कोशिश किया है, क्या उनको लगता है कि हम युद्ध शांत हो जाएंगे?
Now, I'm gonna let you in on a little something, okay? These people in different countries are upset that their leaders are a part of it, and the United States is protesting on a Super Bowl commercial. Yeah, it's kind of strange, right? But remember in Second Ezra, right? Remember in Second Ezra, and what was it, chapter 15? Remember it said, "Woe to the world, them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hand. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their king nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." Now, I'm going to let you know, right? At any moment, the world can go into a tipping point. Watch, listen to me now. At any moment, the world can tip out of control. Because, you see, these are people protesting, and their military is trying to diffuse the situation. These people versus these people. These people versus these people. You're not getting it? Okay. You have everyday goers, everyday civilians, you and me, versus people defending pedophiles, who is government. Everyday people versus government. Everyday people versus government. You get it yet? So now, what's going to happen is they shall not regard their leaders because they're all pedophiles. Now, watch this. Okay. This is going to get crazy in the world. Because now, if you are a military or law enforcement entity, you are now officially aware that you are protecting Satanists, people who abuse children. How many countries have had missing children reports just pushed under the rug? How many countries have had police, law enforcement, military paid off just to traffic children? And the people of Saudi is protesting it. They're saying, hey, you will unalive people in Chop Chop Square. You will do X, Y, and Z, lash the women, lash the men, but you have committed the worst crimes in the world and had no mercy on the people. Yeah, that time is coming. That time is. I'm letting you know. I'd be a bad minister if I didn't let you know. The world is at a tipping point, and it's gonna tip very soon. I'm letting you know. They do not put these files out there, okay, just for no reason. They said, oh, okay, you want to put out our files? We're going to put out every country who's been involved with us because that's not only going to create instability in our country, we're going to create mayhem everywhere. So now, right, little do people recognize you have created Jerusalem and Romans in all nations. Now, you're like, what? How is that possible? In the time of Christ, it was the children of Israel, it was the Sadducees, the scribes and Pharisees, and the Roman power. Okay. You had the religious leaders who were saying, hey, either they were saying, leave them alone, or they were saying, hey, we got to get rid of the government. Then you had other religious leaders saying, hey, we'll just pay the taxes and we'll be good with the Romans. Or you had people to say, you know what, we're against the Romans completely. Let's just go at it. And you had those who were like, hey, I'm going to keep my mouth shut, hoping things blow by, and nothing blows by. All in all, you now have the Romans versus the people. That's law enforcement and that's military upholding people who do heinous atrocities. Now they have forced people. Now, in reality, this should bring, in the United States, we'll just use, right? In reality, this should bring black and white together. This should bring black, brown, white, blue, purple. This should bring everyone together saying, oh my goodness, look what's going on. Look what's going on. It doesn't matter who we vote for, Republican, Democrat, all of these people are part of this sickness. Movies, politicians, songwriters, all of it, right? They know what they're doing. The Most High understands what He's allowing. For us in the truth, we sit there and say, okay, our time is dwindling. Because how long you think people going to respect their government knowing that they do these things? The Most High is putting a hold on the chaos. Why? Because He's allowing people to make their last decisions and their last moves. Because when worldwide chaos happens, you not going nowhere. Mark my words now. But they worried about a Super Bowl. They worried about a halftime show. They worry about go Trump. These people are sick. Uh-uh. Nah. Because you know what? What I can tell you is the Bible is real. Jeffrey Epstein called himself Baal. His bank account said Baal. He called himself the devil. And in Iran today, or yesterday, excuse me, I woke up to this. Yes, that is not AI. That is broadcasted from Iran, the military, and the government with their people, burning a statue of Baal. Yeah, you heard it right. This morning, Baal. Also with this in Iran. Now, I remember that, you see, Iran was not on this list. Maybe the Shah, I think, probably would be on that list. But, you know, the Shah was from Europe and the US infiltrate, right? But the leaders that's there now, they weren't appearing to be on this list. You and the United States are upset about a halftime show, and other countries are burning statues of Baal that represent the United States because that's who they worship. They worship Lucifer. This is where the world turns, brothers and sisters. But let me show you. I'm gonna pick it up from my Twitter and show you. I didn't download the nicer videos, I should say, more real live looking videos. But let me show you what I mean. Okay? Let me show you what is happening. Okay? So you get a better understanding. Here we go. So you get a better understanding and understand that no, this wasn't AI. This was real life. This was Iranians with their military and their people gathered because, oh my goodness, I swear they're getting oppressed, right? Hey, they're burning, they're having a celebration on their 47th anniversary. Isn't it funny? I think, isn't Donald Trump 47? Never mind. No, numbers don't mean nothing. Anywho, but 47, and they got the obelisk, the one in Washington, D.C., and the Baal, whom they worship. And it's just all I want to share with you. I had to share with you. This is the truth. This is the world. Brothers and sisters, this is the world. This is what's happening. Many of you may not realize, but the Most High is doing this for a reason. And I'm letting you know. You remember back in the day, they say, the war will not be, the revolution will not be televised. Right? Remember you hear this, and the war won't be televised, the truth won't be blah blah blah. You get it, right? Now I want you to understand when the worst of things begins to happen. Maybe they'll show a little bit. But at any moment, they will go ahead and they will shut everything off. Communication, travel, all of it. Why do you think they're showing this? Why do you think the Most High is showing this? You got one more chance to stop being ignorant. I'm going to even say ignorant. You got one last chance to stop being selfish, to stop doing things for money, to stop doing things for vanity. Every single person you have ever idolized, from making money, the TED Talks, to all these directors in these positions, they all worship Satan, with the very exception of a few. A few. Coming judgment of the wicked, the first thing, when the congregation of the righteous shall appear, sinners shall be judged for their sins. They shall be driven from the face of the earth. And when the righteous one shall appear before the face of the righteous, those elect ones, their deeds are hung upon the Lord of the spirits. He shall reveal light to the righteous and the elect who dwell upon the earth. Where will the dwelling of the sinners be? And where the resting place of those who denied the name of the Lord of the spirits. It would have been better for them not to have been born. When the secrets of the righteous one are revealed, he shall judge the sinners, and the wicked ones will be driven from the presence of the righteous and the elect. And from that time, those who possess the earth will neither be rulers nor princes. See, because they're all wicked. They shall not be able to behold the face of the holy ones, for the light of the Lord of the spirits has shined upon the face of the holy, the righteous, the elect. At that moment, kings and rulers shall perish. I wonder why. They shall be delivered into the hands of the righteous and the holy ones, and from thenceforth no one shall be able to induce the Lord of spirits to show them mercy, for their life is annihilated. So, brothers and sisters, I would like to close out with saying, where do you want to be when this is all said and done? Whom do you support? Are you going to still play these simple-minded games of, oh, I support this person, I support that, I support this government, I support that job? Now that you know that your governments are part of the worst atrocities in the world, worshiping Baal, will you still continue to seek that high-paying job? How will you operate in the world? Will you stay where you are? Make your exodus. If mercy and truth purge sins, are you ready for the Most High's truth? Because this is it. And if you cannot accept the truth, then no mercy shall be given to you. So